When I say in the 3 weeks that I've been using Claude Cowork that it has completely changed my life, that might be the understatement of the century. This is the future of work, and I want to be very clear. Half of the reason it's so powerful is because I'm dumb. I'm not a technical guy. I'm not crazy technical, and I'm getting insane results that people are saying previously, oh, you got to use OpenClaw for, you've got to do all these complex N8N workflows. No, the future of work is here for the average pleb like myself. And if you want to get ramped up on Claude Cowork and improve your personal life, your productivity in your job or your business, give me about 15 minutes here and I will show you some of the most impactful use cases that I can now set up in 2 to 3 minutes at a time. By the end of this video, you're going to have a full-time executive assistant running your business, creating assets for you, you name it. I think you're going to see how scary this kind of is, but I also think at the same time, you've got a unique 2-year window to really ride the front end of this wave and use this for your own personal benefit. And the results are absolutely scary. So what we are looking at here is Claude for desktop, specifically at the chat. And what we're going to talk about today is Claude Cowork. Just a quick distinction if you're new to all of this, super simple. If you go to Claude on the internet, like claude.ai/new, start a new chat, you can come in and, as you may know with ChatGPT or others, ask me, make me an email that's talking about XYZ, blah, 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 blah. You ask it, you have back and forth conversations. To get Claude Cowork, you do need to download Claude for desktop. I have a Mac, there's Windows downloads as well. Claude.com/download, super easy to download and get set up. You will need the $20 a month plan to start. And as we'll talk about, I guarantee you guys, you're gonna see a ton of value here, but just know that as you do implement more and more use cases, you may need to upgrade based on consumption. But I'm telling you guys, absolutely worth it and very easy download to get started. Once again, I just want to remind you all, I'm dumb. I'm not super technical. I tried OpenClaw in the past and it was like kind of a lot for me. And what I love about Claude Cowork, aside from how insane it is in the work it's doing for me, is it's really easy to use. Don't be intimidated by everything you see here. I'm going to walk you through it and we'll start at the top. A new task is simply kind of like the chat experience. We can come in and just ask it anything we want, do XYZ or research this or summarize this paper for me, whatever it may be. Where we really start to differentiate with Claude Cowork is the idea of a scheduled task. And you can see we're going to break a lot of these down, but I have several tasks running for me at 6 a.m. every day. That is one example of many. Create an email briefing for me. They create a Slack summary, make sure I'm not missing any messages from my key customers. It automatically is drafting responses for me to those messages using my tone, my voice. It's coming up with TikTok ideas for me, AI content ideas for my YouTube channel. We're going to dive into all of this, but that is the scheduled task. Projects, if you're familiar, are very similar to just normal Claude. If you've used projects there or ChatGPT projects, it's the same idea. The beauty of a project is you can give it a name and say start from scratch, and we'll just call this Eric's email writer, okay? But you can give it specific instructions on what kinds of emails you're writing, what kinds of voice, what kinds of tone, etc. You can very custom define this. So as one example of many, I've got my newsletter writer where I can come and say, I have a newsletter idea for insert idea, and it will write a newsletter for my blog that is in my voice, my style, using my unique approach, my unique insights, you name it. And Dispatch is something I'm starting to take advantage of. This just allows you to connect through your phone and run potential tasks or otherwise. And again, guys, this is not super complicated. I'm barely using Dispatch. I'm primarily using scheduled tasks. Sometimes I'll come into a new task and say, hey, do XYZ for me. And then also the last major thing that I want to familiarize you with is both in this customized tab, the connectors, and also the skills. So you'll see in the connectors tab, I have several different tools in my business that I have connected. I've connected my newsletter, I've connected Canva if you're familiar, my work email, my work calendar, my work Google Drive. This is a chatbot on my website, my company Slack, and my company website, and this is where we start to get some really insane use cases. And I'm going to expand on this further, but the difference is using Claude, using ChatGPT in the past, I'd say, hey, write this email for me. Great. I'd go back and forth with it 2 or 3 times. Well, now I can codify a skill, which is exactly what I want that email to look like, to sound like my voice. And using this connector, I can automatically draft and or send that email automatically in Gmail. And this is the major unlock in addition to doing scheduled tasks. So it could scan my inbox every day, create a repeatable, to-do list or things to keep in mind. It can look at my Slack channel and say, hey, here's the last 24-hour summary of everything that's happened so you're aware. But then I can say, respond to this Gmail using my sales email response skill and send it when it's done. And you may be totally and rightfully scared of like, hey, I don't want to automatically send emails. You don't have to. You can codify this just using written word, like, hey, draft an email. Here's what I want it to look like. Please verify with me that I like it before you send it. It's so stupid easy to set this up. Let's dive into several different use cases that I have. And as we dive in, guys, the links are going to be in the description for both of these tools. You're going to see there's a free tool called Prompt Cowboy that I love that makes super detailed prompts. And I highly recommend Whisperflow instead of actually typing things yourself. So I could sit here and slowly type, write me an email that does XYZ. But using a tool like Whisperflow, it's like $12 a month, totally worth it. I can instead come in and say, I need you to write an email for a proposal request that I got from a customer who wants to pay $20,000 for an offering. Please use my sales email skill to draft this response. That just gives you a sense for how quickly now we can type using a tool like Whisperflow. But with that, guys, let's jump into the use cases that have fundamentally changed my life. We're going to start with some of the easy ones that I do using my email. So if you are setting this up for the first time, all you need to come to is the Customize tab, Connectors, and then you can browse the connectors or add a custom one. I'm going to browse and simply just go find Gmail and connect that. Like I said, I use my corporate account, my business account, and this now gives Claude access to look into my email, to draft emails, you name it. And once that's connected to, you can give it permission to where you can block it from getting certain information or drafting emails. You can say, hey, you always need approval before doing something, or you can always allow it as well. But once it's connected, the beauty is we can use simple prompts to say, hey, I want you to do this every day, or I want you to set this up. So what I'll show you guys now is actually creating a scheduled task, because I get 250 emails a day. 100 plus of them are spam, people trying to sell stuff to my business. I don't have time for that. I don't want to look at my email inbox and decipher. So what I can do instead is every day at 6 a.m., scan my email inbox, give me a briefing, and highlight only the emails that are most important for me to respond to. So let's take a look at how we even build one. All you have to do, I'm telling you guys, this is the major unlock. This is so unbelievably simple, and this is when really the light bulb clicked for me. You can say daily email inbox checker. Okay, let's just call it that. Check my inbox and summarize important emails. Now you can put a prompt in here, and you could easily say, check my email inbox and highlight the most important emails that I need to respond to, and then create a to-do list for the day based on anything I may have missed. And that's not bad. But I mentioned earlier Prompt Cowboy, and the reason is I can take that exact prompt and throw it in here and say, hey, make this a much more detailed prompt. Now I'm going to let Prompt Cowboy go and make this way more detailed. And the results that I get from using a detailed prompt are so much better than just your average like 3 to 4 sentence prompt. And you'll see that here. All I have to do now is copy that prompt, bring it back in here, tell it that the frequency, I want it to do this every single day. And I would like it, let's just do for the sake of this example, to do it at 7 a.m. because I log into my computer at 7. I'll save it and we are done. And I'll show you guys, we can click into this scheduled task that we just created. Yes, it's going to run at 7 a.m. tomorrow. You can also verify that it works by running it right now. So that's what we're going to do. And you will see just by stupid, simple prompts, basic language, clicking and connecting something through just, oh, Gmail, that's the icon, and hit plus, log in, you're set up and you now have a full-on executive assistant managing your inbox. And I'm going to break down further use cases of ways that have really maximized this, not just for a day-by-day checklist or reminders, but I have it actually going in and scanning several different things in my inbox. So we can see here as this is running, I can click into it. And let's see, it's reading my Gmail email. It's reading a couple more emails. It's going to come up with a result here in just a moment. And so you can see right here, I've got a full-on summary of not only the most important emails that you saw here, I've got unsent drafts like, hey, you've got a few things you had started but you didn't finish. Here's a to-do list based on your email inbox. And guys, I'm not kidding when you literally just saw me set that up in 2 minutes. So if you have an idea of what you want to do, I created another one that automatically detects my spam. It's part of my actual daily briefing that I run every day. And when it finds spam that I can unsubscribe from, not only can I say, hey, go unsubscribe from that, it will go and either do that automatically or find the link in the actual email and paste it for me to click and unsubscribe. This is absolutely unbelievable, guys. And if you connect your calendar, you could also create a prompt that says, check my email inbox and my calendar and prepare me for all meetings, as one example of many. I want to show you in use case 2, still looking at the email inbox, another great use case. Every single week, I have this scanning my email inbox as I get a lot of sales requests for my business, people interested in products, and I have it scanning, and we can see one example here of many, and it tries to find people that reached out to me anywhere from 3 to 6 to 18 months ago that either bought something from me in the past or expressed interest and ultimately fell off. And this is an unbelievable way that once a week, this is something I would pay an executive assistant to do, I would do manually, I would pay a sales rep on my team to do. This is done automatically, and it took me all of 3 minutes to create the prompts. And by the way, guys, as we roll into the next use case, I did just want to mention, we're going to keep going here in this video with tons of use cases, but also if you want to expedite your speed and getting up to speed on AI, I've got all of these use cases and dozens more outlined in AI Leverage Lab, and I work directly with our community on live calls every week to build out these kinds of use cases for their work, for your business, whatever it may be. And the third use case I want to talk about, whether you're using a scheduled task, regardless of what the situation is, if your email inbox is connected, you might rightfully be thinking, hey, it's cool that it's connected, but how do I have Claude actually respond to emails in my voice? Because I'm a control freak. I don't want it to look like AI slop. I need it to be this way. Or maybe you're super skilled in a company's product, or you're a doctor, or whatever it may be, but you've got a very expertise knowledge that you don't want AI to slop its way in this response. This is exactly where skills come in, and they partner with scheduled tasks or just anything that you do on a regular basis. A scheduled task is something that I know, hey, 6 a.m. every day, I want a daily report, I want a daily Slack summary. Those are things that are both, I know exactly when I want to do them, and I do them regularly. A great way to think about a skill, and again, that's in the Customize tab and Skill, is that this is where you are doing things repeatedly, but you don't know when you would do them. So as an example, very commonly, I'll come up with a newsletter for my newsletter that's linked in the bio. I'll come up with a LinkedIn post about one of the companies that I run. When I do that, I have a very specific way that I do that, and I have a lot of knowledge about my company, my industry, and my customers that I want this to take into account. So if I just went in and said, hey, create me a LinkedIn post talking about XYZ and doing blah, 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 there's no real way, like I have to go in and go back and forth with this thing 6, 7 times. What a skill allows me to do is now reference that skill, which has a ton of detail about exactly how I want something to be done. And instead of starting from scratch every single time, I can say, use my Rhythm LinkedIn writing skill to create a post for my audience. Specifically, I want to talk about how our usage has doubled in only 3 days. We have people simulating cold calls at the best companies in the world, and this truly is becoming the #1 AI sales trainer. Talk about not only that, how it's beneficial, but help me provide an angle and some value to users who otherwise all they get to practice with is live cold calls when someone's on the phone. Talk about the value of being able to practice with AI and what that does for a rep. And what you're going to see here with this skill is that normally when I come in here and just say, oh, hey, do that for me, it's got no context. But because I said reference my skill, it's now looking at this skill directly and pulling in all the context that it has about rhythm, about how I write on LinkedIn, and I don't have to go in and specify, this is my brand, this is what I care about, XYZ every single time. Another use case, again, like I mentioned, for a skill, and I may have mentioned this earlier, is my sales email response. So in my scheduled task, whether you're using a scheduled task or not, in the one where I talk about, hey, find old business that I may have missed, right? Hey, here's Philip. He came to us 6 months ago, had a consulting call, said he'd come back and discuss next steps, never did. Now, instead, I can say, hey, great find on Felipe. Please draft an email response using my sales email skill that calls to attention what we talked about in the past and asked him if he'd be open to having the conversation started again in April. Now you're going to see, because that skill was already built, as it starts working on this based on my prompt, it goes, oh, wait a minute. You've got the sales email response skill. I'm going to reference that for all the information about who you are, how you write, you name it. And guys, if you've made it this far, I've got more use cases coming, but I just want to reiterate, I am dumb. And this is the easiest thing to use. I have set these up in minutes time and time again, and I'm getting insane results. And you can see based on this email, whether you're in sales or not, this is on brand. This is ready to go. Now it's even asking me, hey, want to create this as a Gmail draft so it's ready to send? I can say, yeah, sure. And now I could hop over in Gmail and you would see that created as a draft. Now I've got two major use cases I want to talk about before we go, and I detail tons of these on my channel if you want to follow and subscribe. One of the things as a content creator that I find myself doing all the time is creating emails, creating certainly videos, right? But I create also nurture sequences for interested customers. I'm creating blog posts for my company website. Now, sure, I can use AI, and maybe you have used AI enough to think, oh, AI can help me write a blog post. But one of the things that I started to do, and give me a second here, I'll show you how Claude Cowork makes this absolutely insane, is I've created a skill that takes a YouTube transcript and creates a blog post. So that's a major unlock. Not only does it know, hey, take a YouTube transcript and make a blog post, but now using the connector to my website provider, my website is run on Webflow, I can have it not only automatically create a blog that is ready to go and actually performing well. I'm on the first page for dozens of search terms across the internet, but it automatically drafts this up in my website and it's publish ready in just a few minutes. So as you can imagine, to create this, if you're following along and want to create something similar, don't even worry if you're not a YouTube creator or you don't create blogs. Do you have call transcripts from work? Do you record your calls? Do you have anything recorded with a transcript? Because that's so much context you can now play with that I will, as one example of many, you can see this post, but I just come over to Prompt Cowboy and say, as one example of many, I need you to take YouTube and other video transcripts and create them blog posts and follow-up emails for my audience. Typically, they sign up for a free lesson, and I want you to use YouTube videos to encourage them to watch them, give them free value in an email, and also draft a blog post based on the transcript that is SEO and GEO optimized. So like I mentioned before, I'll use Prompt Cowboy. It's going to create me a detailed prompt, and that's exactly what you see in Claude here. I have a Prompt Cowboy detailed prompt. It's got blog structure. It's got all the things about my brand, who I am. And the reason that I create this skill, just reiterating this again, is because once I have this skill created, I never have to specify any of this ever again. So I can simply come in and with a new task say, I've got a YouTube transcript I want you to read and create an SEO optimized blog post. Please let me know if you have any questions, draft the response, wait for my approval, and then publish it on Webflow. So now I'm going to go in and grab the actual transcript and just attach it here. This is just a simple YouTube transcript. If you have a transcript or detailed information of any kind, you can attach it here or copy paste it in. And I'm going to say, let's go. And this is something, while this is running, I just want to reiterate to you guys. I make a YouTube video a week for my main business and then also a testimonial video every single week. At the end of every month, I would have a dedicated day where I went back in and watched all of those videos pre-AI. Once we got ChatGPT, I would take the transcripts and have it make a blog. But once it made that blog, I would still have to copy paste that output to a Google Doc. Then I would go over to my website provider. I'll show you that in just a second. And I would copy from the Google Doc the 20 different inputs required. And it would take me about 30 minutes per blog post to format everything, get the images in place, you name it. So right here, we already see the blog is being drafted, and we'll see once it's done, it's going to ask me, are you ready to throw this onto your website? And just for reference, what you're looking at right now is my primary business's website. Higher levels, we do sales training, consulting, you name it. And every single one of these blogs that you're looking at has been generated in AI, okay? Previously, I used ChatGPT. Like I mentioned, I would manually copy paste. It was a pain in the ass. And what you're looking at here is the back end of all of our different blogs. Okay, today is April the 8th, so this is a draft I created yesterday. Let's hop back in here, and it's going to ask, it looks like it's wrapping up right now. You'll see it say, hey, does this look good to you? Is this ready to post? And so it just now has asked me, does this look good to go? Yes, let's post on Webflow. Now as it's running, you'll see over here, because in my customized connectors, I've already connected Webflow. We'll go back to that thread and we're going to see that it's actually going to call the Webflow connector. So here it is calling the Webflow connector. It's starting to load everything and send it over. This is working completely in the background for me. No other maintenance required. And what we're going to see here in just a minute when I refresh this is that we'll see a new draft for April 8th, 2026 around 6 p.m. Central Time. So as you can see here, it's indicating that this is done. And if you recall, today is April 8th. So we still see the draft from April 7th. Let's do a refresh. And we see April 8th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 Central. We have a completely baked out, formatted, and everything blog ready to go. I literally come in here and just add my YouTube thumbnail. And guys, just as one example of many, I just want to show you, let's see, best tech sales training. That's my primary business, higher levels. Yes, it's cool that it can make blogs, yada, yada. We get it. These are all paid ads, but when it comes to organic results, our company website is literally the 4th one in the world for the search term best tech sales training, and our blog is under 1 year old. We're competing against brands with 5 years of blogs. This is actually getting insane results. I can write a blog in about 30 seconds now that I have a predefined skill that knows exactly how to take a transcript and make it a blog post, but also because of this connector, it now automatically formats and publishes it on our website. And I hope you can see how scary this is getting, guys, because this is stuff I either paid contractors hundreds or thousands of dollars for that I can now do in 20 minutes maximum. And when I say 20 minutes, I mean 10 blogs in 20 minutes as opposed to one in 30 to 40, which it used to take me. And I lied. I have 2 more use cases that are insanely valuable. One of the biggest unlocks for me has been a legal document creator. Just a reminder, use this for your own business. This is very, very tailored to my tech company, Silicon Valley, you name it. But if you are an amateur, you need to create contracts, you need to create agreements, partnership agreements, MSAs, legal agreements. Literally, guys, I've never studied law at all. I don't even know how to do that. I'll come into Prompt Cowboy and create a skill by saying, you're an expert lawyer with 20 years of experience in real estate. Specifically, you help people purchase homes between $300,000 and $1 million purchase price. I need you to be responsible for any types of contracts, litigation, everything revolving around home purchases for the average consumer. And I'll give you a bunch of raw thoughts and context about any situation I have and need your expert guidance to create legal documents accordingly. Now I'll come into Prompt Cowboy. I'm just using this as a real estate example. I will have it come in and build a detailed prompt. And in Claude, I'm just going to come in and say, create a skill, write skill with instructions, and say real estate legal document creator. Create legal docs for my real estate business. And now these instructions, all I'm going to do is come and grab these from Prompt Cowboy now that it's done, and paste these in here. And I can come in at any given time and say, use my real estate legal contract skill to create a lease agreement for someone who's renting a home that costs $3,500 a month. There are no other stipulations. They're a pretty standard contract here. Please draft that and let me know if you have any questions to enhance it. And you'll see, I'll save you guys the back and forth. I think you get where this is going, but it immediately recognizes, oh, let me use that real estate legal document creator. And now it's going to create it right out. Or you can always say, hey, hey, before you create it, actually ask me 3 questions to make sure that you have all the context you need. And I'll stop the current run and just throw that in there and try it again and say, hey, before you create it, ask me 3 questions. Insane, guys. I have used, just to be clear, I have several companies that are billion-dollar unicorn tech companies, and I've created documents all in Claude that have been accepted, minimal to no red lines, and are used for my primary business. I no longer pay a lawyer to do these things, and it's unbelievable what you can create with literally 3 minutes of work. The last super cool one, guys, I want to show you is you're going to see, by the way, in all of these connectors, there are so many tools here you can connect to, whether you're a business owner, an employee, you have, Google Drive, you have all types of tech tools, all types of marketing tools, sales tools. Beehive is what I use for my newsletter, and that's in the description, by the way, where I talk about AI. I want to show you guys in about 30 seconds how I build a custom dashboard that tracks my entire newsletter. So I'll come in here, and maybe you can create a skill, but if you even just want to create it straight from scratch, I'll go back to Prompt Cowboy and do a new prompt and say, you're an expert marketing analyst specifically focused on newsletters on the Beehive platform. Use the Beehive connector in Claude to understand what kinds of things I can visualize and create a dashboard that shows all of my posts and their performance. It shows weekly subscriber growth, gives me the option to see monthly, quarterly, and yearly growth, also tracks any monetization from ads, and also gives me suggestions on SEO and post performance of how to improve future posts. I'll come in. Once again, Prompt Cowboy is going to flush this prompt out and make it super detailed, and I'll walk you guys through in literally 3 to 5 minutes how I make a full-fledged web browser dashboard that has real-time stats on my newsletter, which is one angle of my business. Check this out. So you'll see here, it's pulling the Beehive data first to see what we're working with. This is pretty common. And also, if you guys are new to this stuff, you don't have to have all the answers. I'm going to let this continue to run, but you can always ask it, hey, what kinds of data do you have? What kinds of data for me as a business owner would you recommend that you put on this dashboard, right? So you never have to have all the answers. You can always ask it once you're connected or once you've started, hey, what should I do? And so guys, you can see it's been running for a bit in the background. We're maybe about 60 seconds in right now. It's got all the data collected. Again, I mentioned some of the things that I wanted to see, like subscriber growth, monetization tracking, SEO. So it went ahead and said, hey, what can I see? I got it now. Let me pull all the data. Let me pull individual post stats. And it's like, hey, I've actually got it. Let me just build the interactive dashboard. I created a prompt in 10 seconds with Prompt Cowboy, and I'm about to have a fully interactive web browser created dashboard. You guys are going to be hopefully blown away by how simple this is and how insane the output is. All right, guys, so total time it was running was maybe 2.5, 3 minutes. I did nothing. I just gave it the initial prompt. It figured all of this out. We're going to view this in real time. View the Organic Systems dashboard. And I'll actually pop this open in Google Chrome. Let's go ahead and use my browser. We have a fully interactive dashboard with real-time data from my newsletter that shows anything from active subscribers. It's only a month old, by the way. It's blown up. I've got post titles here of all of my recent articles, the open rates, the click rates. We've got engagement by post comparisons, top clicked links, SEO and content recommendations. And guys, you saw this. It took me 20 seconds using Prompt Cowboy to come up with a prompt, and it did the rest. Solely because I connected my newsletter provider, Beehive, right there. This is truly the most insane technology I've ever worked with. I know there's going to be those people out there that are building companies with OpenClaw and vibe coding their way to apps that never actually sell. Claude Cowork, for the average person out there, regardless of how technical or not you are, this has completely changed my life, guys. I hope you got a ton out of that video. I've got more coming on the way if you want to follow and subscribe. And like I mentioned, I've got a private community, AI Leverage Lab, only if you're interested and you want to really expedite your learning and usage of AI. That's a dedicated community where I have dozens of use cases laid out, and I meet with our members every single week to build out more. The future is crazy, guys. I can definitely make a post on my thoughts on AI in the future, but the way that I look at it selfishly as a business owner is you've got a year or two to really leverage this stuff before the masses catch on, and what an insane tool, an insane advantage this could give you in your life, in your business, in your job, you name it. So with that, guys, we will see you in the next one, and good luck out there. Thanks.